Good morning. Morning. It's truly great to be here with you all today in this wonderful celebration. Good to be here with great leaders in the community, our Johns Hopkins staff, neighbors, friends, and family for so many communities across the city. Many of whom who live here in Johnson Square, to launch the expansion of the Johns Hopkins Live Near Your Work program. Now, like so many things in Baltimore that are good, they're hard to make happen without public support, public leadership, public partnership. And this program is very much in that spirit. And so I want to acknowledge first and foremost the many public leaders here without whom this event would not be possible. And that, of course, starts with our Mayor, Jack Young, and City Council President, Brandon Scott. Great champions like Senator Cory McRae. Where's Senator McRae? I want to acknowledge, well, let's do them and then we'll do some more, but thank you to all three of you. We've got Delegate Stephanie Smith, council members, Mary Pat Clark, Shannon Sneed, and Robert Stokes. And then, of course, our community leaders, because we know, again, the importance of partnership. We've got neighborhood and association community leaders like Regina Hammond, Pauline Charles, Rita Cruz, and Mark Washington, who really are the unsung heroes in making all of this and indeed so much more happen. So let's give them all a round of applause. So, you know I'm a Canadian, and I can't help but starting without invoking a Canadian. And it is, of course, the journalist and great advocate of cities, Jane Jacobs, who was American but spent a lot of time in my old hometown of Toronto, who made this powerful observation, which I really think is poignant for today, which is cities have the capability of providing something for everybody only because and only when they are created by everybody. Something for everybody when they're created by everybody. The Live Near Your Work program is one of the foundations of Johns Hopkins' commitment to our city, and a crucial way that Johns Hopkins and city leaders are working together with all of you to build a Baltimore with and for everyone who believes in, who's dedicated to, and who loves this city. Now, since it began, the Live Near Your Work program has served more than 1,100 Baltimoreans by setting them on the path to home ownership. And in thinking about how we could strengthen this program, we heard the resounding call from our employees, from city and community leaders to further expand its reach into the neighborhoods from Coldstream, Homestead, Montebello, to Johnson Square, to South Clifton Park, neighborhoods in which so many of our employees now live and want to build their futures. But in those communities, many of those employees are renters, and we want them to be homeowners. We know that in cities across America, including, of course, our own, the promise of home ownership and its impact on building the intergenerational wealth that makes futures bright has eluded far too many of our neighbors and neighborhoods, especially in communities of color, which have unfairly borne the enduring impact of discriminatory housing practices. Together, and today we can be part of reversing this trend and changing the trajectory of our city and the lives of neighbors for the better. For Hopkins employees, this grant allows them to make the type of long-term investment in their family, in their neighborhood, and their community that can last generations. And in a city that has continued to lose population, Live Near Your Work is a way in which Hopkins is saying to our employees and their families, work here, stay here, live here, make this place vibrant. We believe in the city. We know that buying a home is not easy to accomplish. For each person and every family, home buying represents faith in the future, not only in a single house, but on a block and in a community. House by house, family by family, home by home. This is how we strengthen our city. It's not complicated, and we're really fortunate to be able to be part of this. For Johns Hopkins, Live Near Your Work truly embodies our universities and our health system's unwavering faith in the future of fellow Baltimoreans and our great city. over the last 10 years, and this is amazing, more than 800 families have become homeowners under this program. 90% of the people who participate in this program are first-time homeowners. So again, this is the way renters become homeowners, build a sense of ownership, develop stakes in the community, and build wealth over time. So this is what this is all about. Look, thank you for being here today, and really, I'm just delighted that all the various neighborhood associations are here. They're going to tour and show the promise of their neighborhoods, and we get a chance to learn more about our wonderful city. And simply to say to our employees, start buying, do it quick. This is a great time. Interest rates are low. The grant is available. The houses are fabulous. Mark Washington was just showing me some of the stuff that's going on around Clifton Park. And this is just, it's unbelievable what you can get in the city. And we're just really anxious to do what we can to help make this all happen. With that, I want to turn the program over to someone who, in these areas of the city, doesn't need a whole lot of introduction. He's pretty well known, and that, of course, is a very proud representative of East Baltimore, and now the city as a whole, Mayor Jack Young.
Thank you, Ron. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, still morning, it ain't 12 o'clock yet. First, I want to acknowledge Senator Cory McCray, Council President Brandon Scott, Councilman Stokes, whose district we're in, who's doing a great job in trying to move his district forward. Ron Daniels, the president of Johns Hopkins University. Michael Braverman, my housing commissioner, is he here? Okay, well, I'm here representing him. Annie Milley, executive director of Live Baltimore. Michael Guy, the director of Office of Home Ownership. Rob English, lead organizer of Bill. Wendy Redfern, chief of real estate, Rebuild Metro. John Watkins, homeowner and real estate investment manager, Bella Edison. And community representative, Regina Hammond, Johnson Square. Pauline Charles, Dolly Park. Mark Washington, Chum, I think Mark is from everywhere. Him and Rita Cruz. Rita Cruz from Bella Edison, and Denitra Braham from Bella Edison. First, I want to thank Johns Hopkins University Medical Institution for their leadership, sustained and growing partnerships, and the commitment of resources to promote home ownership and community stability throughout Baltimore City as a leading live near where you work participating employer. The neighborhoods of East Baltimore are fortunate to have the strong and committed community leaders and nonprofit organizations represented at today's event. Now, residents and future residents will have additional resources to call these communities home and build new and lasting relationships thanks to Johns Hopkins. These type of partnerships between residents, community leaders, government agency, political leaders, and employers like Johns Hopkins will strengthen our existing neighborhoods. I also want to thank Live Baltimore for their efforts to market Baltimore's unique neighborhood, and the team at the Department of Housing and Community Development for continually to actively support and promote home ownership incentives across the city. And before I introduce the council president, I just want to tell you how proud I am of Regina and her community up here in Johnson Square. Since she became president and working with the Build organization, they have really transformed this community like no other. Her and Mark Washington and Rita Cruz, I see them in my dreams because I know it's something that they're going to need and something that they're going to want. So, you know, leaders like that, you don't mind going the extra mile to try to help to do what they need. Oh, I'm sorry, Delegate Smith and Councilwoman Snead. But I just want to tell you, we need more community leaders like those three. And I know we have them, but we need them to be more engaged. As you know, Baltimore is facing historic crime in this city. Murder rate is out of control, shootings are out of control. In order to stop all that, we have to do the rebuilding of the community and rebuilding of the families. So I want all of you to know that we're doing the best that we can, but we can't do it alone. I can't do it by myself. The council president, the council can't do it. The police commissioner can't do it. But together with us and you, the community, we can change Baltimore and put that C back in front of that H, and we'll be Charm City all over again. So I need your commitment to help us to reduce crime in the city and to help us clean up the city. If everybody cleaned the front and the back of their properties, we will have a safe and clean neighborhood, and we can chase the rats away. But I just want to let y'all know we're going to have a bunch of rats coming here, I think it's next week. So we need to get the exterminators so we can be down there to feed him those pellets so that we can get rid of them. Y'all know who that rat is, don't y'all? They'll be here for the, it's a convention that the Republican Party is having. No disrespect to you if you're a Republican, but we have a two-legged rat that's coming to Baltimore. And to top it off, he want our police department, he called us crime-ridden, but he want our police department to be there to protect him. A poor city like Baltimore, and we need our resources to fight crime in our neighborhoods, but they're gonna be down there protecting the two-legged rat. Mr. President.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Mayor, I think that I learned a few weeks ago that we refer to that individual as Individual Zero. We don't give him a name or a title because he's not worthy of that. I'm so happy to be here, and before I go any further, Mr. Mayor, you're absolutely right. When you have dreams about Miss Rita and Regina, but when you see Mark in your dreams, that's known as a nightmare. And Mr. Washington has been many of my nightmares, good nightmares, yelling and screaming at me so bad that when I wake up, he's already calling me, trying to figure out what else we can do in Chum. I came here today to say thank you to Johns Hopkins for recognizing that the true path to rebuilding Baltimore is to help people make the biggest investment that most people will make, and that's in buying a house. And understanding, and also want to recognize my council colleagues, Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark, Councilman Robert Stokes, Councilwoman Sneed, my Senator Corey McCray, my delegate, Delegate Smith, because we understand that in these neighborhoods in particular, and President Daniels mentioned it, these neighborhoods were neighborhoods that were forced for us not to be able to own homes, and we were forced to live here and not be able to even have equity in our own neighborhoods and to have pride in our own neighborhoods. But guess what? We had that pride anyway. But now through programs like this, we will see again how these neighborhoods can thrive. And I think that everyone should know. We know that individuals that work at Hopkins live in Bella Edison, they live in Chum, they live in Johnson Square, they live in Darley Park and South Clifton Park. But we want them to own in those neighborhoods. We want them to be a part of the renaissance of those neighborhoods. We want them to the people to say, no, yes, my neighborhood once was this, but now it's better. And we know what they have there. They have great people, not just Miss Rita, not just Mark, not just Regina, each and every day who work hard and take pride in their neighborhood, who clean the front and back, Mr. Mayor, who want to have their neighbors do the same thing, who want to see their neighborhood not have crime, not have drugs, not have guns. But when we invest in them through programs like this, when we help them understand that their neighborhood can literally belong to them, that's how we start to see it moving. So I just came to say thank you to Johns Hopkins. I'm going to stay away from downtown when Individual Zero was there. But I'll be in the neighborhoods where these people are. And maybe, Mr. Mayor, we can get the motorcade to get lost and take him into East Baltimore so that he can see the transformation that is happening in East Baltimore and in Northeast Baltimore, because Baltimore is the greatest city in America, but we can be even greater and we can be more when we all continue to do more. Thank you. And I'm going to bring up now, and it's fitting that I'm in between the mayor and Councilman Stokes today, because this is the last time today that I'll be able to talk to them, because Merville plays Dunbar today, so this is the last time that we'll be nice to each other. So I'm bringing up the second in command to the Dunbar fan club. He'll be the second to cry when the game's over tonight. Councilman Robert Stokes.
Well, when we win, I'm going to give you some maroon and gold socks to wear to the council meeting Monday. It's not gonna match that ugly blue there, though. First, I want to thank God for being here, but I want to thank all the partners, Hopkins, Rebuild Metro, Johnson Square, all the partners that made this happen. And I believe in partnership, because if we didn't have them partnership, we would not be standing here now. because of everybody working together in terms of making this happen and bringing home ownership to Dolly Park and Bel Air Edison and East Baltimore Midway and South Clifton Park. So I'm very happy. It's a great day that this is happening. And again, I want to thank Hopkins and President Daniels. You said something that really meant a lot to me when you said, when we go into these neighborhoods and a lot of people are not homeowners, when you live where you work, we're going to make sure they become homeowners. And that means a lot to me, that those persons that been there are not being ignored, but they're going to get an opportunity to buy their own properties too. So thank you, and I can bring up Miss Regina. Miss Regina. Okay. Hey, Terrell, can you take your hat off for a moment? See that guy right there? Hey, Michael Guy, you see that guy right there? Michael Guy was in the same class with Regina. They sat next to each other. Regina will worry you enough that she started making Michael Guy bald head. Where is Mr. Hammond at? And he's bald head back there. She done got to Terrell. She made me gray, so I'm in trouble. Here's Mr. Regina, who's doing a wonderful job here in Johnson Square.
I host these events just so I can share the stage with my favorite councilman, Robert Stokes, but I just want to actually thank all of my city and state officials for being here today. And I just want to say the Build organization, Rebuild Metro, if it were not for them, this wouldn't have happened. They taught us how to basically organize and rebuild a community, which was what we had started out to do 6 years ago. And now we're starting to see that happening. I just want you all just to look for a minute. Just simply look around. Look at the beautiful view we have here in Johnson Square. Look at our beautiful school that's going to be a world-class 21st century school. Vision it. Look over to your right or my right. We just opened that up, a $1.5 million investment. We just renovated that part. We have broken ground on a 60-unit apartment building right down the road. There are great things happening here in Johnson Square. Just pack up your furniture and come on to Johnson Square. Oh, hey, Councilman Stokes is on me again. Oh, let me also say this. I gotta again give my husband back there the props, or else Councilman Stokes and the mayor will be getting on me later. But anyhow, we just had that happen. We just got finished getting all those old, scary, vacant properties torn down. That's now wide open. We're gonna start phase 2 on a beautiful, another part of now Henrietta Lacks Educational Park, which was definitely Councilman Stokes was responsible for making all that happen. So hats off to all of you. Get back up here.
Well, I'm going to bring up a gentleman, and I'm glad he is in the 14th district, because I'll probably be getting phone calls and nightmares too. So Mark Washington, come on up, sir. I'm glad you're in the 14th district. I know that's less of a phone call for me.
Thank you, Councilman Stokes. I want to thank all the elected officials, particularly Mayor Young, my good friend, Council President Scott, and I am still in Dolly Park, so I want to thank my Council Representative Robert Stokes, and of course my Senator McCray, thank you, and my delegate, Ms. Smith. I just want to say that I am humbled to be here today. We started on this journey a few years ago and trying to get the communities of Clifton Park included in the Johns Hopkins Live Near Your Work program. We thought it was an imperative tool that we needed to have in the toolbox to help strengthen and rebuild these communities. Thanks to President Daniels and his vision and his willingness to cooperate and extend a hand to help move these communities in a positive direction, we're standing here today on the precipice of change. And President Daniels, I just want to thank you for that. Yes, please, thank you. I also want to thank Mr. Lewis, who on one of the most cold and blustery days that I can remember, agreed to meet with me and my colleague John C. Cott. Jeannie Hitchcock, and Jennifer Melky agreed to meet with us as we proceeded to unveil a proposal for the communities of Greater Clifton Park. And these are some of the most wonderful communities in one of the best locations anywhere in Baltimore City. Darley Park, where I'm from, Bel Air Edison, Mayfield, South Clifton Park, and of course Coldstream Homestead Montebello. You cannot find a more picturesque location. And not only that, the schools in our community are probably some of the best schools in the city. And Coldstream Homestead Montebello is home to not one, but 2 4-star schools, and of course we claim Mervo as ours as well. For us, this is the beginning of change. There was a long time coming, and I just want to thank those representatives from Hopkins under the leadership of President Daniels for extending the hand to help lift us all. Thank you so very much.
Regina done gave me her job, I tell you. I just want to introduce this gentleman who I met about 7 years ago, and I just think he's doing a wonderful job on his first term as a senator in Annapolis. And Senator Corey McCray, come on up. You're doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. First, if I could just take one moment to lift up the 45th District. I'm proud to be here. I'm Corey McCray. I represent the 45th Legislative District, as the councilman stated, in the Maryland State Senate. But if you could stand for a second, I see you got both your boys. Delegate Stephanie Smith is with us from the 45th Legislative District. And I tell you, you have some very hard working elected officials, and I want to go to the delegates, but I'll work my way down. So right now, Delegate Talmadge Branch is at the swearing in or the ordain of Pastor Sean Bell to Bishop Sean Bell at this moment. So I know the Talmadge Branch sends greetings, and then also we have Delegate Cheryl Glenn, who also brings greetings. And then I think about, in reference to the hardest working elected officials, it's not even noon, and I know that I've been able to share my breakfast with that lady to my right, Mary Pat Clark, at our breakfast meeting at 8 this morning. Took my daughter to tennis, and then I was also at Sean Bell's ordained to be bishop, but our mayor was also there. So as you see people running around, I just look at how intense and how intentional they're being in reference to the time that they spend, but what they're doing for our city, and I'm very, very thankful for that. I also see my councilwoman, Shannon Sneeve, right there with those white glasses, and I'm always thankful for my councilwoman. But one of the things, Ms. Reed, and I can hear you laugh, but one of the things that I see around this circle, around this square, to my right, to my left, this is what partnership looks like. And when I think about Hopkins, under the leadership of Ron Daniels, and how they're being intentional in reference to the communities that get the help at this moment that we stand here today, I just say that I'm thankful. I look around to my community leaders, and I know Mark, I don't have nightmares, and I see Miss Rita, I know Miss Pauline, I know so many people, Miss Regina, and I know how proud they are of their neighborhoods. And as Miss Regina got up here and she talked about Ambrose Kennedy to our right and the development that's taking place, when I look over to Homewood and I see the development with housing and the work that's going on, and I think, what a beautiful community, Rob. And I think about Darley Park and how proud they are of their Gateway Park when you go past Hartford and 25th, and how proud they are. I think about Mark to my left and how proud he was in reference to the groundbreaking of the housing development that's taking place in Chum. I look to my left and I think about Miss Rita in reference to her Bel Air Road corridor, the Kaboom Park that just got there on Shannon Drive, and so many other things. And I know that they are the tireless leaders that are working day in and day out. So I say thank you, thank you, thank you for being intentional. And Alicia, as I think about the 2 goals that I wake up with every day, I think about growing our city, because we do not get out of this challenge without growing our city. And as I was sitting down, and I think about how President Daniels whispered in my ear how proud he was in reference to Henderson Hopkins and the double-digit gains in their park scores, and how Parker at Henderson Hopkins will be able to benefit from that. But I know, Alicia, my second goal is always to lift up our schools. And they indirectly affect crime. They indirectly affect food deserts. They indirectly affect homelessness. They indirectly affect so many things that plague our city. And I say that we will get through this. And then as I close, can I talk about legacy? As a father of 4, as a father of a Kennedy, Reagan, CJ, and Bryson, one of the things that I always have in my mind is what will be my legacy and what will I leave them? So when we talk about home ownership, one of the strongest things that you can leave our babies, I salute each and every one of you for being here today to lift up home ownership. So I'll close as I open. As I look around this circle, as I look at the square, as I look to my right and to my left, I know that this is what partnership look like, and I say thank you, thank you, thank you.
If I've not learned anything through my Build to Leadership training, is that partnership is everything. And I again just want to say, as I bring up President Daniels, that thank you so much for bringing this program to Johnson Square, because this is another piece of the puzzle of what we've been looking to build here in Johnson Square. Thank you so very much, President.
Great. Well, look, thank you all for being here. But again, it's not just enough to be here. You got to go out and put down payments. I really look forward to spending support, all the buying that we hope will happen here in the months to come. This is a great moment, but the truth is, there's many more great moments that we look forward to celebrating with all of you here today, in partnership, in a sense of collaboration, but with a real sense of optimism about our city and its possibilities. So I feel really lucky to be part of this. Again, thanks for being all here. And I just want to ask our leaders, elected neighborhood leaders, just to come up. We can do a quick Photoshop, and then we can get out of the way and let people start buying. So thanks for being here.